and he would bring it around and carry the St. Louis Cardinals to glory back in the day. He's got the ceiling fan on. He's looking at over stuff. And does he hear me right now?
He can hear you.
Joe Magrane, can you hear me now?
Yes, Tony Bruno, live from Cape Canaveral. Can you hear me?
Yes,
you ready for
mission
launch?
control, yes. We have splashdown here because we got a lot of rain. Now, are you in, where are you? Are you in Florida or are you in St. Louis?
I'm in Tampa.
That's right, where you were part of the hit show with the great D-Wayne Stats. I actually have the bobblehead of you and D-Wayne Stats when you guys were the broadcast team for the Tampa Bay Devil Rays back in the day.
Yeah, and there's a button right between us. Go with me on this. If you press it, it talks too.
Now, is it you or D-Wayne Stats? Because I haven't taken it out of the box. I'm waiting for it to be worth $15,000, like the Bobby Orr hand.
Oh, that's
imprint.
right.
Yeah.
It's like a Beanie Baby or something.
Exactly right. I don't want to take it out of the box.
No. It's Dwayne and I also have one of my roommate Greg Matthews and I were with the Cardinals when we threw double shutouts to clinch the playoffs. But
I don't have one of those.
how's it going, Tony?
I'm good. I haven't talked to you forever. I was wondering, where the hell's Joe Magrane? He was on the MLB Network.
I thought you were down in Cape Coral or something. Has that been that long ago?
Yeah, no, I've been in Philly since back in 2011 when I left L.A. and came back. So we haven't crossed paths a lot. It's always great to talk to you. We had Mitch Williams on, another MLB Network exile. I think you and Mitch's situations were a little different, though, at MLB Network.
We didn't have any court issues, and we both left on good terms.
Exactly. So what have you been doing, Joe? I know obviously you've been a baseball guy. You did play by. I mentioned you did the Rays for how many years were you in Tampa? Because you were there almost in the beginning.
I did the television. I did the television there for 11 years, and before that, you and I go way back to helping Keith Olbermann launch ESPN2 back when ESPN was just one channel.
Yep.
And then so did the Rays for 11 years and MLB Network for 10, and just I've got two podcasts in the work, and as you can see, I spent a lot of money on the set. The budget's almost up to $50 now.
I like it. Harry Mays, my partner's got a golf course behind him. You got a ceiling fan behind you.
That's only because I haven't learned how to use the green screen yet on the Zoom. And
it's really easy, Joe.
Are you any relation to the Hawaiians' version of corn? We call it maize, or no. Billy Mays and the Flex Seal tape.
Oh, that's great, Billy Mays, the late great Billy Mays with Flex. No, he didn't do Flex Seal. Billy Mays did not do Flex Seal, I don't believe.
Shazam. Not the Shazam, the ShamWow.
No, that was Shlomo
that was
guy.
The other
OxyClean is wasn't that?
Billy Mays was OxyClean. That's right.
Yeah.
Billy Mays was the first guy with OxyClean. He had the big beard. Yeah, he was good.
Mays fortune.
Yeah. He actually lived down here. Was with what's QVC? What's the other one called?
Home Shopping Network.
Home Shopping
Network.
Yeah. That's the heartbeat of the place down here, and they bought QVC, so it's all being based out of here now.
The great big left-hander. I told people the Lincoln Town Car story, and a lot of people don't believe that. You and I used to jump into my big Lincoln Town Car.
Right.
Back in the day in Bristol, we go eat pasta on Friday nights up there at Pagliacci's restaurant.
Yeah, that was actually one of the highlights of my trip. That was before you could post like Yelp reviews and not only about the driver and also the restaurant.
Exactly, and I love that car, man. That was my first car that I owned, and I said,
how many miles did you end up before that went directly to the scrapyard?
I never know. I kept it around until the very end, and then I donated it to science. No, but I had that car brand new. I bought it in Delaware. My friend Buddy Arnell was running a car dealership there. So back then you can buy a car in Delaware and not pay sales tax because they don't have sales tax, and then still have it registered to Pennsylvania. So you found a way to screw Pennsylvania out of tax money. So I bought that car, and I would drive it up to Bristol. I drove it all over the place. So that was a boat, man.
I knew.
That was a boat.
as much a part of you as you were a part of you.
All right, Joe, I got to ask you about your team, your town. I know you played for a couple teams, but you're a St. Louis Cardinal through and through. So when you
Right.
see the story with the COVID stuff, and obviously it's something that we're trying to figure out what the hell to do. And baseball so far has been the worst as far as any of the sports leagues, even soccer players, even hockey players, even the NBA guys. Baseball, you got the Marlins and now the Cardinals, who are the super spreaders. Yadier Molina, I said he announced today that he was one of the guys, and he's apologizing, and he says he's okay, feels okay. What's your take on this whole baseball players going out and being irresponsible? When you guys went out back in the 80s and became irresponsible, you never got any foreign diseases to take home, did you?
No, we always carried penicillin and had the team doctor on speed dial. But you're talking about, let's say, 25 or 28 with the carrying and a pool of 60 of alpha males, and that they have to stay in their rooms. We didn't operate under anything like this before. So whether they're where I had heard that they were enjoying the ballet, as it were, in Atlanta before the season opened in Philadelphia, or just a bunch of guys that now like packing into a hotel room playing video games and Fortnite and things like that. It's been much more difficult, and you see why they've been able to keep golf controlled much better is just because of they actually really can socially distance a lot easier outside.
Are you surprised at this? Because now they're not going to be able to play, obviously, and they've only played 5 games. The Phillies, meanwhile, have only played 4 games. They finally played the Yankees, and they're rained out today. They're going to play a doubleheader tomorrow. How are they going to get caught up on all these games when you got teams who've only played 4 games, teams have only played 5 games, and they're going to have to play all these 7-inning doubleheaders? Is there any way everybody's going to wind up playing 60 games in this mess of a season?
I was just thinking about this. Today. The Cardinals said that they had followed all of the protocols to absolutely the letter, and the Marlins, it may have been a little too casual. And what I had said to a buddy of mine that I played with, that I can't imagine that they can get all 60 games in. That with the remainder of the days, that it's going to be a 45 game schedule before they start the postseason, and then I think they're just going to have to shave off games, and that they've left themselves with 60 to where that they can ratchet it down, because they're going to want the postseason to start exactly on time, and you could hopefully do that without these super spreader outbreaks and without having to have teams like basically fall out of it and not be able to continue the season.
Joe Magrane, Harry Mays is actually in front of his green screen, which looks like a golf course. It's a great look. And I got to try that too. I mean, I'm in my wine cellar. We actually built this here in Philly, Robin and I and our buddy Luigi. So this is all real. We don't have any like fake stuff. These isn't the props. You know what I'm saying?
No. And I can. I'm sure that you have some quality Merlot.
Yes, we do.
Back there, and I've heard that you're very close to your producer, and you work very well together.
No, we don't actually, because I said I'll get a hold of Joe Magrane. I got to get him on the show, and then Robin texts you as I'm texting you, and then your head's going to explode. And then I thought you were like thinking I was a wacko again, and you weren't going to come on the show. So I had to yell at Robin even last night after the show was over.
Tony, I am not uppity talent, although I did say I'm not coming out of my trailer until I got the lighting right here. But I would take your call at any time of night. Even when you were doing shows on the West Coast, I was always there for you, buddy.
Yes, you were, Joe.
We're kindred spirits.
That's because you live in Hernando County, one of my favorite counties in Florida. And if I moved to Florida, I want to live right in the middle of Hernando County.
Hernando County, that's where they filmed Deliverance 2, I think. No, I live in Hillsborough.
Yeah. I know. It's a running joke, because that was a bit that Bubba the Love Sponge, who was a legendary DJ down there,
right.
he'd always do like Hernando County cops, because apparently there's a lot of, there's counties like that in every state, like Humboldt in California. Harry's lived in counties like that, right, Harry?
Well, my mom lives in Hernando County.
No!
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What a green screen.
Yeah, she lives in Spring Hill.
How about that?
And I know those areas well. And I think the real reason that Live PD got taken off of the air was because all of the let's go live back to Hernando County. Let's go live to Hernando County. And that was pretty much the deal. But
can you get Harry on some of the tracks that, because Harry's got connections everywhere. One of our running jokes is I don't even know if you're playing golf, but Harry always asks the guest who lives in an area where there's a lot of nice golf course if you can get him on that particular track down there.
I could get him on Avila, Old Memorial, where like your interviews, many stars of the stage and screen and of the athletic world, presidents, senators, have golfed there. Like you have interviewed all of those types. It's a place that would be perfect for Harry, and he would be more than welcome. It's a great golfing experience.
Now you're 6'6", so you have to have special clubs when you're that tall, right?
Well, since I had my hip replacement, I measure out at 6'4" and a half. No, I just had regular clubs. I just got a little closer to the ball, and I had to get a special ball, special caddy, and a special golf bag because these 16-ounce buds are a little heavier later in the day.
Now, people, I didn't even notice that. Now I see it. Yeah. You got the tall boy there, Harry. You got to love that, Harry.
I saw it.
You see, the 12-ouncer just gets lost in my hand, and the 16-ounce is small. Yeah.
But Joe, I gotta ask you, like, your thoughts really on the baseball season in general. Like when they announced that it was going to be 60 games, and they're going to be doing extra innings, starting with a player on second base, DH in both rules. Now they're changing the doubleheader rules. They sort of seem to be making it up as they're going along. Like, what was your thought process on playing the season with all these different changes? Is it really worth playing?
I think. I have very strong opinions on it, and now that I'm not affiliated with anyone, here comes the barrels blazing. It's just I thought that baseball had some problems leading up to this season by the way that it was being played: strikeouts, home runs, walks, the three true outcomes, and these moves and changes like having to face three hitters and the like don't speed up the game and affect the quality and some of the strategic stuff. And also with the combined DH, I don't like it because I'm a National League guy. I got this from Leslie Nielsen. Enrico Perlato. No, it was from Bruce Fleming. And it was weird to think that my head is the same size as Bruce Fleming's.
Is that really Bruce Fleming, the former umpire,
yes,
legendary umpire? Yeah. He gave you a National League because now there's no more National League, American League umpires. Right. They're all one.
That's a collector's item. That's more valuable than my bobblehead, Tony.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Did Bruce sign it for you, though? Did you get Bruce Fleming to sign it for you at least?
No, but Bruce liked to do a lot of things on trade. There's a quick story. Johnny Bench said, Bruce was always wanting to get stuff signed. And Johnny said, I'm not signing a box of balls for Bruce. He doesn't treat me very well. And he goes up, and Johnny Bench goes up to hit. First pitch, a ball outside, strike. Second pitch, a ball outside, strike. Sign the balls. Third pitch, strike three. Sign the balls.
Way.
And then when Johnny came back to get behind the plate with his gear on, he said, Bruce, you're all taken care of, and everything went back to normal. But I wanted to get back to answering Harry's question because I didn't want to seem evasive on it, and that it just seems like it's I don't think the product is going or has been very good at this point, and pitchers have talked that they're not even close to being in proper shape. You had the Braves lose Mike Soroka trotting off the mound with the blown Achilles, and now that jeopardized his career. And a lot of the players that have opted out, not only have done it because of the health reasons of the pandemic, but also the worry of things like that happening. And I think we could all agree that the product to this point has not been up to snuff. And as far as like the putting a man on second with the 11-inning game. I think that's something you have to do because we can't have any of these extra innings dragging on, running out of pitching staffs, and it's something we have to do to get as many games in as expeditiously as possible.
So you have no problem with the 7-inning doubleheaders that a lot of these teams are going to have to make up now?
Right, because you should be just throwing the book of all of these special rules to just get to the finish line, get through the postseason, and hopefully it aligns with the proper teams, with the Yankees and the Dodgers and the depth that they have and the way that they're playing, that they are, afforded their ability to. Because I want the game to be interesting to everyone, and I'm thinking like the last year or so, and I knew that what Houston was doing before, but I was on the air, and I worked for the owners, and they were playing so well, and obviously had an outstanding team, but I couldn't say anything about it. They'll get escorted out the door.
That's happened to Harry and me several times already, but that's why we're doing our own thing right now, right, Harry?
Exactly.
Yeah, so you think when the security guards are locking arms with you, it's not like some showing of support. It's really just making sure you don't get hurt on the way to your car.
Exactly. Now, that this is a very special day, not just because we've reunited again, Joe.
Right.
But the bottom line is you and I were together 27 years ago today when Robin Ventura decided that he was going to go out there after he got plunked by Nolan Ryan. Remember that brawl with the White Sox, the headlock? One of the great scenes in baseball history.
Because I love you, I will take up the story with you. I would later become and finish my career in 1996 with the Chicago White Sox and play with Robin Ventura, and he is one of my top 3 all-time teammates of all time. And he told me, he said, hey, I had to go out there after Nolan had drilled a couple guys. I wasn't committed to going out there. And it's like, note to self, if you're going out there with a guy that wrestles cows to the ground and ties them up, you better be committed, or at least take a bat out there to kneecap him like Tanya Harding.
And yes, and so Robin Ventura, he gets hit in the back, up in the shoulder area. It wasn't at his head. And then he starts walking to first base, and then he stops and charges the mound. And then Mickey Hatcher. I mean, you see all the guys out there, all the guys that we know from back in the day going at it.
Right.
And obviously Nolan gets him in the headlock and starts pounding him and giving him the noogies. And then Robin gets a couple of shots in. That was a real Pier 6 brawl that we don't see anymore in baseball.
Right, and you're absolutely right, and I like the fact that it shows that in a strange way that both of those men were of high character because they engaged it. They didn't wait to anyone to hold them back and go, hold me back, and try to wrestle with it. They settled it like gentlemen. But I felt bad for Robin, and actually Nolan Ryan, when Robin came back into the ballpark at Arlington when he was managing the White Sox. Of course, the Rangers wanted to put it up on the scoreboard and everything when Nolan was the president, and Nolan put the kibosh on it because he said it wasn't a professional look. So, it was classy on both of their parts.
In the day and age of everybody calls older guys boomers, that was a 46-year-old guy tuning up a 26-year-old guy. That's a 20-year age differential. And then Nolan Ryan showed him what a boomer really meant, did he not?
And you know something, Tony, about just to give just a perspective, because you hear everybody talking about how everybody throws the ball 95 and they have no idea where the ball's going. When I saw Nolan Ryan's last start, and it was against the Angels when I was playing for the Angels. He was with the Rangers. At 46 years of age, he threw 7 innings, punched out 9 guys, and his last pitch was 93 miles an hour as a 46-year-old man. Nobody will be like that again.
No.
And why is that?
Nobody will be playing like that.
But I'm saying bigger, stronger guys than ever, and yet we're not going to have guys that like the guys who were playing 30 years ago.
No, it's different, and I think there are reasons because of the way that players are indoctrinated. And I know this is going to come off like you reach a certain age and everyone says, oh, he's into his full "get off my lawn" speech already. But we were taught to get 27 outs and trained that way. And the players now are taught and coached to throw as hard as you can for as long as you can. And unless you're like Max Scherzer or let's say Clayton Kershaw a few years ago, there aren't too many of those guys left that were just rolling up CGs night after night.
Yep. I mean, I remember the greatest season I saw from an individual pitcher was Steve Carlton, 27 complete games on the 72.
My idol growing up.
Right. Big left-hander, another big lanky left-hander. But I got to give the stat. I mentioned it earlier on the show. You were the only guy, I think, in baseball history to lead the National League in ERA and finish 5-9. I mean, you want to talk about, do you throw your teammates under the bus for not giving you run support like we see a lot of players do nowadays? 2.18 ERA, and you were 5-9. How did that happen?
That was difficult because we really, really valued wins and losses back then because you were throwing against the other pitcher. You're more like gunslingers. And, I remember facing Doc Gooden, and Vince Coleman would walk, steal second, and then steal third, and somebody hit a ground ball to short, and Vince would go, "There you go, hold him," and I'm facing Doc Gooden and the Mets of that core of '86. It was like that, and you're getting those number one starter matchups. But it taught me a lot. That was my second year in the big leagues, and to never ever trash your players for not scoring runs. It's a bad look. I had a couple of White Sox young pitchers that would sit up in their underwear on days that they weren't pitching and smoke a cigar and go through their mail, and then go out there on their pitch day. And after the third inning, it's nothing, and he'd start dog cussing everybody. "Let's go, let's get some runs." And it's like, "Hey, go back to the clubhouse.
Exactly.
This isn't a podcast. Never mind. I almost, slipped.
It happens. It happens. It happens every once in a while.
Yeah.
What did you think of the way Joe Kelly handled his business the other night? And do you think the 8-game suspension was warranted in such a short season?
No, I don't. And I understand that Chris Young, the former pitcher, and I think Princeton grad, is the one that has taken the job of disciplining over for Joe Torre. If he hadn't been so sloppy about it, and I could fall out of bed in the middle of winter and hit somebody in the ribs, the fanny, or right in the thigh, which is better because it leaves a long Charlie horse bruise and they feel it for a while. But you don't miss when you take that one shot, and it's just a bad look. I mean, if you've seen Joe Kelly on Twitter, they had these baseballs, and he's got like a batting cage in his backyard before the startup, and he couldn't even throw it inside his batting cage. He broke one of the windows in his house, so he is wild. But I think that it was way too strong, especially given the history. The Astro players cooperated, so to speak, with the commissioner's office by referring to what their cheating system was, and they haven't had to face any discipline whatsoever for things that have gone on for years. And you want to take 8 games of salary out of Joe Kelly's pocket for that? And it's almost like that he's trying to send a precedent that there'll be no more picking on the Astros again. And I don't think that that's going to end.
The great. It has to end now, though, because we have to break. But, it's always great to catch up with you, man. We haven't talked in a while.
Oh, come on. I think if I stayed on, what are you still getting gifts for guests and stuff?
I think I have a couple of hit show mugs from the Tampa Bay Rays hit show era. Remember that?
Not like a DVD. I just got this DVD player. I was searching for Bobby's Fischer last night. I thought it was going to be about chess, and then I had to turn it off. I realized it was something else.
I don't know. We'll see what we can dig up in the prize closet for you, Joe.
Okay, Tony. Hey.
The great Joe Magrane.
Anytime, buddy.
Thank you so much, man. It's always great talking baseball. Miss you, man. Well, hopefully we can see each other before long. I got to get down
Look
to
forward
Florida,
to it.
man. I got to get the hell out of this area. I got to come
You're
down.
welcome.
Thank you, Joe.
Tell Harry I'll set him up.
Set him up.
Thanks, Joe.
The great Joe Magrane.